And hello, everyone, and welcome to Scarlet Classic 7. We got for you today semifinals, side A, top side of the bracket, bringing you Stevens Ducks versus Pushin LP here. It's going to be a best of three to decide who gets to play at the Jersey Mike's Arena on Saturday in front of a crowd of of however many people decide to go Scarlet Classic. With that, this is going to be top four. It is a single elimination bracket. So we are going to get into draft right now, but first I'd like to introduce our special guest of this set, Mr. Synical, the jungler for, I believe, is the Rutgers L9 team on the bottom side of the bracket. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, draft has already begun, of course, and it looks like we're kicking off with a Nocturne ban from Stevens Ducks. It looks like they want to take away Lumi Byrano's Nocturne, pretty strong power farm
Yeah,
champion.
naturally, as Greed, Greg, and Lumi both play Karthus, so it's a flex pick for them, and it's a strong pick in comp.
Yeah. Meanwhile, going to be two bans targeted at the mid lane actually from Push and LP here. But in the Zoe and Vex, two champions that have very, very strong pick potential. So it looks like Push and LP kind of want to ward off them from playing that playstyle there. With the Ari ban as well. Meanwhile, it's
Yep,
going to
and we
be Holy first
yeah
pick.
we see the volley pick. It could be a potential flex between Lumi and Blade Cube.
Yeah, flex picks, of course, still incredibly strong. Nothing changes there. So I do agree it's a pretty smart pick to take away. Also, Volibear, just pretty strong jungler this patch. Very, very strong early scrapping. Level 6 dives, so potent with the turret disabling. You know, it's going to be Diana here. Picked up for pushing LP. 99% sure it's going straight to the jungle as well. I do not believe that Sakura plays her in the mid lane.
Yeah, it is most likely going to be in the jungle. It's unlikely for a flex, and that's Pike. This one could be a flex, as music is nice and Sakura both play Pike.
Yeah, I do believe that Push and LP have been practicing the pike mid a lot in their games here, so I could see it most likely going there. It's a bit of a unique playstyle. It's just a hyper roaming mid. You really do want to make sure your jungler is feasting on the mid waves when pike is gone. It does allow Diana to get much further ahead and accelerated than a jungler usually would be. And meanwhile, it's gonna be just a safe Ezreal blind pick here in the bot lane role. And I do believe that Steven's Duck support low energy doesn't really have many games in the support role, but in the quarterfinals they did play. I believe it was the Renata and Karma, two very enchanter-oriented champions. So the Leona pick here is a bit of a surprise for me, especially because you're pairing Ezreal with these two tanky champions, which don't necessarily offer much damage later on in the game. So maybe if you're pushing LP, you actually aim your next few bans at hyper carry champions like the Victor, maybe even the Corki here. But it looks like they want to actually target the scaling picks in the top lane. Instead, going to be an Ornn ban, who has seen a lot of play recently in pro play. So many top laners in pro play picking up the Ornn, getting the masterwork items for a team. He's able to scale really well. Has the pretty much team fight on demand with the Ornn Horn as well.
Oh, this is an unexpected ban. Wukong, as you know, Blade Cube doesn't normally play this champ, so
Yeah, Wukong also did get a whole host of buffs this patch as well. We are playing on 12.7. So he did get, I believe it was an E damage buff and W going over walls.
yeah.
Well, yeah, just another top lane tank uh taken out by pushing LP. That does worry me that maybe with all the hypercarry mids opened up in the pool still for Steven's Ducks, that this low damage composition they built for themselves won't really matter. I do wonder what they will be saving counterpick for. I most likely will be top lane counterpick, yeah, with some Morgana
Mm,
coming out here. Jin Morgana, pretty strong lane. You have a lot of wave priority with the Morgana Puddle and the Jin W, and of course, if either of you ever land CC, it's so much harder. It's so much poke with the root locking you down into the Morgana Puddle. The damage really does add up, especially if the Morgana does end up going Comet. And this was what I was actually talking about here. You can pick up the Corki or the Victor here. You get that late game insurance policy with it, but oh no, it's gonna be the
uh,
Silas actually to counter the Pike mid here, which I was not expecting, considering Pushin LP don't really have spectacular ults to take other than the Pike per se, because I do believe Silas does get 900 gold per kill with the ulti, with 600 from the cuts and then 300 from the actual kill.
yep, and there's the GP pick as expected. Once they ban out Sion and Ornn, that's his next pick.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna see a response here. They were saving this counter pick for Blade Cube in the top lane, and now that he's staring down the barrel of GP's pistol, it might just be the angry Viking to match it. And looks like it will be. So looking at pushing LP's composition here, they don't actually have much in the form of consistent engage per se, because you're really relying on either Morgana hitting a binding or Diana kind of just fling herself in there and getting all her stuff out without getting stopped by the point click CC of the Leona of the Volibear, or honestly like even pushed away by Salas taking Diana ult himself. Meanwhile, Steven Ducks here, Ezreal doesn't necessarily make much sense with the composition when you're looking at all the dives Steven Ducks is packing here with the Leona, with the Volibear, with the Silas. But it does give Ezreal a lot of space to kind of just have decide how he wants to play the fights themselves.
Yeah, you would expect a more aggressive ADC pick if they pick a strong gauge sub like Leona with a volley jungle, so they could go for dives.
Yeah, and looking at the ADC of Steven Ducks, he does have these aggressive ADCs in his pool as well. He has been playing a couple Smear games. He has the the Caitlyn to kind of put in his pool as well if he wants to play for more balling focused game style. Of course,
Yeah,
maybe with the Ezreal pick, they kind of want just to open up Leona to roam across the map while he farms safely. He shouldn't be able to die bot lane against Jin Morgana, especially if he does take the cleanse. Does allow Leona to kind of look to impact the top lane, try counteract this Pike mid roams early on in the game. Because looking at Steven's Ducks, this Gangplank is going to be fairly vulnerable to these Pike roam plays. Pike very strong. Of course, he doesn't have the shove power anymore after Riot took away the minion damage on his E, the AoE on his Q. But Pike mid has kind of evolved to this amalgamation of a thing where you don't really even need farm. So many Pike mids nowadays kind of just ignore the lane, just run around the map, kind of like the Janna top with spell sleeves that I was heavily complained about.
yeah, and this is all possible because of his ult passive, which gives him extra gold for every kill and assist he gets.
And as Riot designed him as a support champion, he doesn't necessarily need much gold in the first place, really, because you always will have the utility of just being able to execute people as soon as they're low. And looking at Steven's Ducks champions, typically GPs nowadays don't really build the Hellslam. They lean towards the Prowler's Claw, S3 or kind of one shot. Ezreal doesn't really build health much as I don't believe he goes Sunder anymore. I haven't seen Ezreal build Crown in a while either. It's mostly the Essence Reaver Manamune Cyril to build. Of course, and other than that, it's kind of hard for them to lock down the Pyke because they don't have much damage to stop to pop Black Shield on the Morgana here. Because Silas most likely won't be pumping any damage into the target that's Black Shielded, assuming it's on, like, say, the Pyke or the Trinity is most likely looking to dive onto the backline with the ulties of the Morgana, of the Diana, of the Pyke. Honestly, you could even have him take Trinity ult just because that is so much. I believe it's 5 seconds of invulnerability when you're 1 HP.
Yep.
Other than that, I believe we're going to head to a very small break, and we'll return to you when the game begins. So, see you then. And welcome back to Semifinals A, Stevens Ducks versus Pushin LP here. Game 1, right off the bat we begin, and we got a 5-man sprint towards the top lane versus the 5-man fan of Pushin LP.
Welcome to
It looks like they're gonna
Summoner's
try maybe
Rift.
blow Summoner or Blade Cube. Try to play a bit more for the Gangplank early. Blade Cube
30 seconds
gonna
until
spot them out
minions
though, knee over the wall.
spawn.
Looks like he's gonna be able to evade this here.
Yep. Looks like Stevens is just looking to get a deep ward just to see where they start.
Yeah, and of course, with that knowledge, it looks like Push LP is just gonna try to place some vision in the try. I'm actually surprised they didn't go for a deeper ward there onto the red buff. It looks like just now
Minions have spawned.
Sakura is moving over there to place one. They
Yep.
won't have a sweeper to clear it out as well, which is the added benefit. But it looks like Lumi is gonna pass towards the red buff here, level
Oh,
1. I'm not sure if this is a good thing. Of course, Blade Keep has the lethal
oh no!
tempo.
Wow, we see support and mid moving.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be really good for
This
them. They're collapsing beautifully. Music nice. Successfully moved up, root onto GP, and he's just gonna get taken out. Most likely, a great hook from Sakura as Volibear is just gonna get run out of town. And it's gonna be a ghost pop from Blade Cube. It's gonna be flash burn from Volibear. Very nice play from Pushin LP. That was a very
yeah,
smart roam from Music is nice.
yeah, very smart word by Pushin LP. And looks like Volley's just going to solo blue buff top side.
Yeah. I'm not sure how good the Volibear clear is solo, especially when you're starting blue. I imagine it's fairly slow. As Greed Greg tanking zones in the wave, this is just the price of having your support move up to counter the play. And of course, in the mid lane, Sakura is down a level because he also spent so much time on the roam. And here's what I was talking about with this poke of the Jim Morgana. One hook, but oh no, Greed Greg doesn't have the cleanse. Flash auto, but the wave is being tanked up by Ezreal, so he's gonna go down. And meanwhile, more trading in the mid as Licorice is trying to escape, but the flash Q from Lumi by Rhino gonna trace him down into the river. But here come the boys.
Yep. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a small trade as Lana gets the Glacial Augment slow onto Lumi. He's gonna try to run off here, but I believe he won't be able to escape. Gonna spike cannon for a bit more
Yep,
gold,
he
but
has
he's
no
most
flash.
likely going down.
Should
Yeah.
be dead here.
Oh, maybe they're giving it sauce? No, just gonna take it. PTA pro Volibear. Just a small overextension. Fortunately, didn't really respect the support roam up. So it's gonna be a 1-for-2 in the mid lane, and as well as Volibear finally getting Diana's red buff from earlier in the game as he goes 2-0. Meanwhile, Sakura just kind of shoved under turret. There's not much he can do, especially with Silas getting the early back off, getting the early M-tone. Sakura as well doesn't really have the boots for the early roaming. Meanwhile, looks like Volibear gonna be most likely clearing towards top here as Dragon does come up in about 50 seconds. Blade keep doing his best to trade with the auto eating away. Very, very good chipping away of the Gangplank here. And of course, he does have the Earth. He did get a cheater recall off, I believe. He does have the tier 2 boost compared to GP's nothing, and because of that, oh my god! I don't think Jizzo was expecting the burst from the Tryndamere there. I think that was 1 or 2 crits in a row actually, which has felt his demise there. You know, what are your thoughts on this Volibear D-ring pickup it looks like he has? I don't believe that's very standard.
Yeah, this is an unusual purchase, a Dark Seal on Volibear early. You see it with some champs like Udyr who plan on building full tank but do want that early game damage. And we see Lumi ganking top. Volley will try to hover, try to counter gank, but he will not make it in time. Do you trade 1-for-1?
Yeah. The barrel not being popped there was really big. It gave GP the, of course, barrel damage, but most importantly,
This could be a kill.
damage.
Lumi has no flash.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
but he
really
backs
close.
off.
Volibear can look, but the wave is just barely non-move target, so he can't keep going. Also noticing that tree kill is so important. It does mean GP gets his sheet and gets claw armor off that as well. So, and most importantly, he does get the XP. So, top lane is not as doomed as it could have been with that kill being given over.
Oh, he's
Just so much heavy trading in mid lane. Sakura is
potential
really
gank mid.
yeah, potential. Gangplank actually moving over to the Raptor camp as well. trying to maybe look for a play to happen, but no. And meanwhile, while it's all happening, Blake's just holding the top lane in place stalwart there. As he's about to tick 6, I believe. 600 gold up on his lane opponent there. As Greed Greg and Music Nice are just playing playing to their win con. They don't really want to fight, but oh, it's a beautiful engage from Leona. But of course, a great route onto Ezreal. The Ignite's taking him down and down and down. Music is Nice actually needs to be a bit careful. Low energy can potentially look onto him. Root barely gonna miss as Lumi's just kind of walking down the lane to help Greed Greg shove it out, and he's gonna feast on some XP himself. Very, very good bait from Music is Nice there. Had the Black Shield for the Q, and of course a very, very important route landing onto Ezreal there meant Jhin was able to pump out so much more damage and take him out. One scary thing this game though is that with the lack of cleanse on Greed Greg, it's going to be so much easier for him to get picked. Especially in these fights where he's locked in place with the curtain call. It really does make him an easy target for this Leona, for this Volibear, for the Silas to kind of just hunt him down. And of course, one thing about GP is that typically when you do play against these marksmen with these ultis that really make you stand still in place for a while, same with Varus, is that the Death's Daughter, the true damage center portion, is so potent against these champions. They get deleted by the ulti there. So I really do wonder how Jizzadizzo decides to use it. I mean, as Lumi hovers towards top lane here.
Yep, this could be a potential dive.
Speaking of potential dives, if you direct
Yeah,
your
looks like
camera to
Volley is looking
Volibear.
as well, but he's standing on vision.
Yeah, the level 6 timer is so important for Volibear jungle. You really do want to make this dive work out. Same concept as the Nocturne, as here he comes, but look at that double root, and they're just gone. He thought he was being a bit sneaky, but of course that one pink ward, which he does finally see on the tail end as he sweeps, he realizes he was seeing the entire time. Which is very unfortunate because of how much time he dedicated to that play, as Lumi by Rhino is gonna pass back top here. As look at that, the wave is pushing out. Gangplank knows something is up, but here he goes, gonna be face checking in, has the flash, as meanwhile mid lane Sakura gonna barely whiff the ulti here, as the cannon barrage comes down, but it's a bit too late. Meanwhile in the mid lane, flash is traded as well, as Greed Greg gonna get flashed on by Volibear.
Yep, and he is just dead. A flash, smart hold by him on his flash.
Yeah, there's no way you get out of there if you are Jhin. As Volibear's gonna try to make some return, and here comes the ulti actually. Music Nice gonna try to walk it out. He's holding on to the Black Shield. He's gonna try to solo kill the Ezreal actually. Doesn't have the damage though. No TPs either on the side push and LP, which means he's probably gonna go down here. I don't know about that stopwatch here, no matter what you do, but it does mean that the kill goes over to Leona instead. As here comes the current call. Sakura gonna try and make something happen. Hook landing onto Volibear, gonna give the kill over to the Jhin. As that is assist number 3 for Sakura in the mid lane.
Yep, so we did see that this stopwatch actually did help stall a little bit for Sakura Chining to rotate bot, get the kill on Volley.
Yeah, so he's gonna eat some harassment. Gonna whiff the hook just barely as well onto Sasa, would be really good. As here comes Lumi again, playing towards the top side of the map. You have the Tryndamere as well to tank up the turret, makes the play really free. As that's gonna be another kill onto the Gangplank. 1 in 5 currently on the pick is just not working out. The blind pick Gangplank. And this gold deficit is really showing. 1400 in the top lane, and even though they spent so much time committing to the bottom lane play there, it's still an even gold advantage in the bottom lane, despite Greed Greg being 30 CS down. They're practically even. Just because of, I believe it was a shutdown potentially. Is Greedgreg in a bit of danger as he gets ulted up? No cleanse. May I add, did not have the Black Shield on him just yet. There wasn't enough time for Music Knife to get there, which means he's gonna get taken out. Of course, during all this, Sakura just gonna try to weather at the storm of the Silas pick in the mid lane. He's down 30 CS now. Not much you can do. Can't really find a time to roam either. As Music is nice once again in danger. Volibear has the ulti again.
We do see Lumi bot side as well, but he goes mid. Oh,
Yeah, just wants to make sure that the cut is being given over. Gonna bridge that gold gap in mid lane a bit more as Greedgreg gank dove, but John Lee is tanking the turret as Leona does end up getting the kill because of the ignite. As Blade Cube is now all in the top lane. He does not have the ulti, but he can go for a bit more damage there. Gonna make GP probably have to back here, because as soon as the ulti comes up, that's probably gonna be a dead pirate in the top lane. Yeah, he's gonna have to burn the TP as well, most likely. As Lumi by Rhinos has sprinted in to shove in the wave. He has the Herald as oh, he doesn't have Herald, sorry, I misspoke. Oh, yeah, it was just mixed up, that's why. And look, TP comes in. Blade Cube's gonna proxy the wave here as Silas is potentially heading up, but because of the Herald dropped mid, he's gonna have to rotate mid here to catch it, as Lumi by Rhino is just gonna feast and feast and feast on this top jungle.
yep, and GP no flash, so we could see another dive coming top lane.
But yeah,
soon.
look at this. Volibear just gonna go on the dragon here. So much focus on the bomb lane means this is gonna be the second dragon of the game as Blade keeps going for a dive here, gonna be tanking it up once more with the Tryndamere ult. As GP goes down once again here, 1-6 now. But of course, the cost of that is going to be Dragon going over to Steven's Ducks. 2-0 is count. As Greedgreg gonna be eating an Ezreal Q. Binding does land onto Leona. Looks like they're a bit scared of the Volibear posturing for another dive, which is of course an ever-looming threat. As it looks like Silas is pathing down here. Yeah, Volibear taking the Hex Gate over. As Music is Nice does finally see him, but the flash onto him, Music is Nice probably gonna go down here. Greedgreg burning flash, but here comes Volibear ult disabling the turret. As Sakura Chimang is gonna land an ulti flash Q ulti again, another huge cut going over to him. He's gonna try to make it out, but the flash ult on Pykel for this time from the Silas here as the Diana Moonfall gonna land. Binding Morgana Dark Binding gonna steal the kill as Auto comes down, cleaving up Silas. A 4-for-2 team fight in favor of Pushin LP as both teams are cashing in their cuts. I'd say the big winner here, though, is gonna be Lumi here, who's gonna be able to steal away more of Volibear's camps. I mean, this jungle CS deficit's really beginning to show, even though it is Volibear. He is now 2 levels down, and Stein is really starting to get out of control.
Yep, and this is where we see the power of a Pyke's passive really coming into play. The score is 11-15, but there is 6k gold here.
Yeah, but might be close to a bit more as Greedgreg gonna dodging out, miscommunication maybe, but it's gonna be a very good Black Shield as here comes Lumi by Rhinos once more. As Diane's gonna get taken out. Meanwhile, we're fighting in mid lane. Sakura is just gonna get solo killed as here comes the curtain call. And meanwhile, the top lane, even more fighting here as Blade Cube's gonna look for some more as he has the red buff, he has the ulti. What can GP do? The answer may surprise you, but it is nothing as he gets taken out live. Meanwhile, Lumi by Rhinos can't be stopped. The Black Shield is on him, so I spoke about earlier. No one out of people there can pop it, which means he's gonna be able to jump onto Ezreal for free, take him out. and it's gonna be most likely a bot lane turret gun, but
Red team's
because
turret
of
has been destroyed.
Sakura going down here, GP able to go straight, no sorry, Sa's able to go straight mid and take the turret there. That's gonna be objective by acclaimed. Looks like Volibear gonna be stunning up Blade Cube. Does not have the ulti, may I remind you, he used it to dive the gangplank, which he's gonna have to burn his flash. Yeah. This is around the game state you wanna kind of start to look towards getting the stacking dragons if you are pushing LP. Now that you have your Diana sufficiently ahead, the 5v5 team player, even the 4v5 is looking really good, as Sakura is gonna land a solo bolo onto the Volibear, but because of the Blade Cube grazing him, he is able to get the cut. Very nice play from Sakura mid lane. And meanwhile, Synical, what do you think Steven Ducks need to do to kind of crawl their way back into this game? Because right now it's looking kind of rough.
Yeah, so their closest thing to a win con right now would be playing towards Soul, but even that is an unreliable win con as they're pretty behind across all lanes. So
Yeah.
team fighting, they would need to play for a pick.
And speaking of playing for picks, ulti onto Green Greg here. Thaz is gonna try to chase him down, but it's gonna land on Trop. And meanwhile, top lane, just I've seen this show before. Synical,
Yep.
GP.
And they're looking to dive bot lane once again.
Yeah. Speaking of repeat viewings, oh, the locket just barely gonna save Volibear because it does allow the triumph to tick in. Maybe by Rhinos, maybe gonna try and make something happen. It's getting to a point right now where, well, it has been for a while, but no one can match this Tryndamere right now, and no one can escape him either. Looking at his build, he has the Navori Quick Blades, he has the Kraken Slayer, which is a bit, which isn't very standard. Usually do see him go Gale Force for restricted power, but clearly he doesn't need the Gale Force based off these past few plays onto the Gangplank here.
Yeah, and we see Stevens conceding another dragon even though they got a pick. This shows they still probably would have lost a 4v5. So
Yeah. Really just goes to show how hard it is for them to be playing this Tryndamere, such a potent pick into their team composition, especially with the amount of resources he was given. So while Steven's Ducks, they were able to really set this Jin so far behind. At what cost? This Gangplank 180, one item compared to Blade Cube, who's working towards his third after his pit stop of the Zeal there for the boost speed. As another objective I claimed by Gangplank, but he could be getting walked down, has to cleanse away the slow, as Volibear is going to try to escape, but it might not be enough. No pull, no blast gun, but the... Never mind, I spoke too soon. As Gangplank just going to get solo killed once more. Blade Cube did have to commit the ghost for it, as Ezreal does end up dying. Tried really hard to catch out Green Greg, but the Black Shield magic damager is just barely allowing him to stay alive there, as Herald is summoned in the top lane to give them time to go for this Baron, which is absolutely melting to Diana. Yeah, this Baron claimed. Now, what was once, what you thought, 6k gold lead like 5 minutes ago is now ballooned to 10k. It should close a bit more with the objective bandit claimed in the bot lane third of this game, but it doesn't really mean much in the face of the item and gold advantage, the XP advantage, everywhere 3 levels in the top lane, 4 in the jungle. And this Jin you worked so hard to put behind is actually about even. I'm on the Ezreal, as Levi Rhinos actually could be getting caught here, but here comes the Pyke ulties. Oh, gonna have to flash out. Licorice is just barely escaping. As Dragon comes up in about 250, they're gonna try to clear out the bot wave here as Blade Cube gets the top wave pushing in. I would have liked to see at least someone trying to Baron up the mid wave, just because you really do want to use this time to try to pop up at least the mid inner. Because while you do have all this gold advantage, it's actually pretty hard for them to siege turrets here unless you're going to get picked from Gloomy by Rhinos in the jungle, flanking the Ezreal, taking him out. As Blade Cube gonna look on the GP here, has the W slow, is it gonna mean much? No Black Shield, but the ulti gonna just barely coming in time. Voiber gonna try to keep chasing as he does get the shutdown. Very important they got that onto the Tryndamere. The main split push threat, but while it's all going on, Gloomy by Rhino's getting a two-man ult. Sal's just gonna get deleted off the face of the earth as a root from Greek Greg gonna land here. Gonna take him out as Gloomy by Rhinos is not done yet. He wants bear meat for dinner and he's gonna get it. 10-1-7 on Diana pick here in the jungle. And it looks like they're pushing into the base. The soul con you spoke of, Synical, was not able to happen as the Ezreal ult flies backwards as they try to push in and desperately defend their base, but Lumi by Rhinos wants into game 2. GG is called. And that is the end for game 1 here in the best of 3. Huge plays coming out from Pushin LP there, but what did you think went wrong for Steven's Ducks in game 1 there?
Yeah, so that invade was really risky. Starting their red, not having a sweeper, so they got collapsed on, and we see their win con Blade Cube getting the early kill, and on top of that, Volley being forced to solo blue after being backed off from their red.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The level 1 coming in so huge for Pushin LP. They're really saying volley behind was definitely one of the key points because it did allow this Tryndamere to get so much further ahead. I do believe he did get the first blood as well, which
Yep.
did which did him no favors there. And with that, I think we're gonna head to another small break as we return to you with game 2 soon. So see you then. welcome back to Game 2 of Pushin LP versus Stevens Ducks. For Game 2 here, I do believe we have Stevens Ducks choosing red side here, because I believe it is loser's pick for side selection. With that, what are your thoughts on the draft here for Stevens Ducks now that we are officially going into it? What do you think they should look to ban and what they should change going into here, Game 2 here?
Yeah, so I definitely don't think they will be blinding GP this time.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it looks
they
like
do ban volley over the Camille as they can first pick it.
yeah. Ben staying the same for pushing LP makes sense. I don't think they really want to change anything going into game 2 here. Of course, they are blue side. They do get the glory of having first pick. A bunch of champs to choose from. Maybe you want to go. Uh, honestly, you could go just blind AC here. Yeah, Green Greg covering the gen. Very comfortable with it. Game 1, and even though he did get uh, he did get a minor camping guide from Volibear, he clearly showed that it didn't really matter as he able to set up these picks with the Gentle, with the deadly flourish there, rooting up so many people. Goes to show that you don't necessarily need gold as Jin to function sometimes, especially when you have a Fed jungler in the Diana. As it looks like Steven Duck's gonna pick up Viego. If they are going Viego, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe pick up a Renata as well. Renata Viego is such a strong duo. You pretty much ensure that Viego in any fight is going to be getting a reset unless you're catastrophically far behind. And Steven's Duck support has shown that he does play the pick. But right now, maybe I'm not a huge fan of Jinx when paired with Viego because Jinx Viego, those two champions, they they kind of almost auto win a team fight when they get a kill, but when you shove them together, you don't really have the damage to actually get that first kill to make sure the team fight's won in the first place, which is why I don't usually like seeing them paired together. Meanwhile, Push and LP probably gonna go jungler here because
Oh,
just because you don't want to blind too many things, and yeah, gonna be the graves for yourself in that one.
yeah, this is an unexpected pick from Lumia. It's not was in his usual champ pool.
Yeah. And it does do fine. It is flexible, of course. I'm not sure if Blade Q plays the top lane, but Graves top is still very much a thing. And it does very nice against these heavy AD compositions with how much armor he gets on the E. It looks like Music is Nice is going to be piloting the Leona this game with the Jin here. So much lockdown potential on this bot lane duo as Thresh could be the counter here. Jinx Thresh, just a very safe lane, pretty strong as well. You have so much 2v2 potential with the Flay into the traps, allowing Jinx to stack up her lethal tempo for free, get so many free autos in, and of course, after the root, you have the slow. And once level 6 comes, you're practically dead if you ever get hooked.
Yep, and there's the Tryndamere ban.
Yeah, Tryndamere really, from Blade Cube, really had so much impact that game.
Yep,
After
and you
he
will see the
got the
Camille.
yeah, focus bans on top lane here as Blade Keep of course did not pick. So the signature Camille is gonna get taken out on top of the Tryndamere. And last ban, they could stick with the Scion, or maybe they want to focus on a different ban that could cause them trouble, but nope, just gonna keep all the bans the same. Looks like Stevens Ducks has leaned much heavily more on the scaling side of draft with this Jinx and Viego pick, of course. You do want some semblance of engage with these champions, so a top lane tank is to be expected. That's why the Scion and Ornn were banned out. It looks like Shen gonna be the champion picked up. This does give Bladekeep his desired counter pick in the top lane. Whatever he chooses to go into Shen, who is a pretty safe champion at the end of the day. But could he? Yeah, it's gonna be Dial Jungle here. Graves to be flex top or mid. We will see if it is gonna be the Graves top here very soon. Maybe a champion that can kind of wombo combo off the Diana. Last time we saw the Pyke ult being practically guaranteed with the Diana pull. Maybe we'll see something like an Orianna, or maybe something to get the wombo combo going. But no, Gangplank. So it's gonna be the Graves mid actually here, which has been a pick that's kind of fallen out of priority, especially after the Q mana nerfs. Has mostly just been seen play in the top lane and jungle only. So it's a bit of a surprise to see the Graves picked up here, as Veigar is the hover. The hyper-scaling team of Steven Ducks is really coming together with his draft, but gonna be swapping around a bit more. Syndra hovered, but yeah, it's gonna be Syndra at the end of the day. Gonna look to blow up the opposition of Pushin LP here before the Diana can kill them all, before she gets to this point where she's so much further ahead than everyone else in the game that practically doesn't matter what you do. But at the same time, the problems of Steven Duck's draft shows if this Diana ever were to get ahead, you don't really have a way to kind of get her off your carries other than the Syndra Scare of the week. Threshflay doesn't push her far enough away to the point where the ulti will miss. But they do have pretty good ability to get these team fights going with the Viego and Jinx, utilizing the Syndra ulti as a kind of targeted nuke to get that first reset of the fight going for them. With that most likely going to be going on to either the Graves or the Gangplank or Diana, Jin's probably going to be too far away from the fight to ever get caught by this team unless Viego gets a flank, unless Shin lands a flash taunt. And other than that, it's going to be on to Pushin LP, sorry, not Pushin LP, Sakura to kind of dodge out of any of these early gank steps from the Syndra Scatter the weak. He does have the dash, of course, but it can be a bit tricky, especially if Viego is flash stunning to start it off. They do have the damage in spades to take him out early game, especially. And meanwhile, it's gonna be on to Greg here to not get hooked by the Thresh. He's given the death sentence there. Because if this Jinx gets ahead early, this game's going to be so much harder. It's because the Flame Chompers are really going to make getting onto the backline here so much harder for a champion like Diana, whose dash is kind of just going to get stopped by the Flame Chomper there. Of course, the Gangplank ult does offer a hefty amount of zone control, same with the current call. These long-range slows on the ultis from Pushin LP gonna be very useful in kind of corralling Steven Ducks into Pushin LP's arms, especially in these fights around the dragon, I expect, in these choke points in the jungle. And with that, I think we're going to do a small break once more, and we'll turn to you when Game 2 begins. So, see ya then. welcome back to ignore this. I forgot to change the overlay. Don't shoot me. Sorry. There we go. We got Pushin LP on the blue side and Stevens on the red side. Sorry for the mishap on the overlay there. As we do get in the game, we have Sakura piloting the Graves mid, which I wasn't expecting
30
coming
seconds
out of
until
draft.
minions spawn.
Just because it's not really a champion you tend to see play, as Jizzo actually earning an early ward here, which could be good information for Lumi here if he decides to pass top. Of course, Gangplank doesn't really have the best gank setup, so maybe he does just pass bot here, try and make something happen there. Or he could try to utilize the top priority to look for an invade onto Viego in his jungle. Of course, the two early wards coming out to kind of try to dissuade that there. And since Diana can't really go over walls around, she can't EQ over the Dragon Wall like J4 can if he's trying to look for an invade. Does make it a lot harder, as Viego is going to be pathing bot here. As lane phase has officially begun. Sakura gonna be dodging out the first Qs of the lane, second Q as well, fading out on all of this poke as junglers have decided to start on opposite sides of the map.
Yep, and it seems like Lumi's just looking to full clear as there's not much gank potential top side.
As Blade keeps gonna try to chip away, stack up the grass, and Bone Plane gonna be popped off the Thresh. Same with Leona. Usually you don't tend to see. Oh, actually a bunch of early trading from Blade Keep gonna get the Q on the fade away as Syndra ticks too early, meaning Graves is gonna be eating the QE as so much damage being traded back and forth, but Syndra with the corrupting pot and biscuit's gonna be happy to take these trades all over and over again, as with the wave state being how it is, Greg and BZ's Nice just gonna get zoned off a bit. And with that, Sakura is actually completely out of mana here, practically, as a taunt landing. Great trade from Dizzo there, but because he didn't have the W, he's taking a bit more damage than he potentially could have wanted, as every single corrupting potion from Blade Keep is officially burned.
Yep, and looks like Blade Cube is just looking to crash this wave and back.
Yeah, gonna get another good recall off in just the CS in the top lane, devastating for Shen here. I'm sure he's catching the last few portions of it still. 13 CS down when Blade keeps taking the back is exactly what he wants to see. As mid lane, Sakura is in so much danger here. Just getting harassed off the wave completely. QE landing gonna zone him from his CS, as he's gonna get CS doubled on the end of Syndra.
We could see a potential dive coming mid lane.
Yeah. As he tries to push the wave out, prevent it from crashing, as he looks to trade on Syndra. Get a bit lower before Viego can look for a play, as Lumi comes to smartly hover the dive that was coming. But because of that, he could be face checking here. Spots it out with the Q though, which means he's safe. As top lane, Blade Cube just trading even more. Dizzo didn't get the chance to back either. So he's gonna try to take an aggressive trade here, get Blade Cube chunked low, and he does get the barrel. Which means he's gonna have a lot of an easier time crashing into this wave. Oh. Yeah, looks like something I didn't notice here actually is that Greg is packing the Comet Jhin, which I've never seen before. I assume it has a lot of potential as the game goes on though, because Jhin as a champion gets so much AD that his ulti will, oh wow, that chunk onto Syndra. She actually dead. Here it is, solo kill in the mid lane from Sakura, as he isn't able to get away in time from Viego, which means he gets taken out. But wow, I was not expecting that. Syndra did not have the resources left in her. No more biscuits, no more corrupting potion stacks, and the D shield fleet from Gray was able to keep him topped off there, as Cleanse gonna have to be burned from Jinx here, as a great Zenith Blade from Music's nice slants. Yeah, back to the comp gen, I just assume it's because with what W and R both slowing, and sorry, not slowing, W rooting and R slowing, it makes the Comet pretty much guaranteed. And also with all the AD he gets, it's gonna hit like a truck, especially as the game goes on. As
And even though we did see the kill from Sakura Chimeng in the mid lane, Syndra still does have the CS lead, and we did see Viego freeze the way for him, so he is not too behind as we think.
yeah, look at that, music's nice. Land the C-split onto Jinx, but look, the Viego is waiting. Lantern being taken in, but he's gonna be able to live at the cost of his flash. And this could actually be a solo kill potentially. Sakura needs to be careful because here comes the Unleashed Power,
This is
flash
a
away.
solo kill.
Not too good, as he gets killed anyway for it.
Yep, and with that, they will get dragged bot side, especially with Cryo bot lane.
Yeah. The play from Viego really helping him here, as it's pretty hard to dive onto the Shen, so Blakekeep just gonna take the recall here. He is level 6 now, so looking for plays is a bit easier, especially across the map. The giant AoE slow gonna help Spades, as they're just gonna try to get the wave in here. They are still a bit scared just because Viego was seen bot side do Dragon, but he has taken a reset as Lumi by Rhinos is looking to steal away the red buff here. Yeah, does make it out like a bandit, as Syndra could be in a bit of danger here, a level up on Sakura because of the solo kill. And may I point out, has the early sword shoot, so that damage is really gonna start adding up. 45 MR on the Graves, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. As the wave pushes in top lane for Blakekeep, and a ping on the way mid from Gloomy, maybe he's gonna look for a play happen, but I think Sakura is a bit cautious of it, as Viego makes the way mid. Gun landing on Syndra, a third of the HP gone now, and in so much danger. Flash W from Viego. Take him out.
Yeah, really greedy by Sakura Chimeng. The wave is pushing in, and we do know Viego is bot side as all his camps top side were gone.
Yeah. And of course he wanted to try to get some trade back with the E, but because of that he just was not in position to dodge out, and hook landing onto Music's nice ulti as well, the heart stopper. As it's gonna be another kill given over to Steven Duck's jungler. 2-0-1 on the Viego now. Blakekeep gonna look to threaten the CS under turret with the barrels. But wow, a beautiful dodge from Jizo once more. Perfectly timing the Shen dash to not get hit by the first explosion, and by the time the second explosion is going off, he's already to safety. Just very good matchup knowledge from him. And with that, while Lumi by Rhinos is 20 CS up a level as well, Viego is 2-0-1, just so much map impact this game in comparison to last one, where by now Jizo will have died 3 or 4 times on the GP. They're just not able to make the same plays top lane into the Shen pick. With the GP Diana, they just don't have the potential to dive them. They don't have the Trin Mural to tank. So because of that, it's just going to be Lumi by Rhinos looking to take away the Herald here. As here comes Viego, flash away from Blakekeep to dodge out of the W. So he's going to be able to live, but that's still a burnt summoner spell. Both mid and top are going to take it back. It's Green barely dodged, but here comes the play. The cleanse going to be used at the very end. Current Call could get opened up if they have the time, but Thresh is buying so much space as Syndra tries to pass down. Hook not going to land, but here comes the Current Call, of course. You can't be blocking this Thresh, you're too low. Here comes the blast. Oh,
Oh,
No!
a little bit of miscommunication there.
That is what you would expect to see in a solo queue game, I'd say.
Yeah, not something you see in a competitive scene.
Yeah. I guess was not expecting Thresh to flash out. Especially because if he did, Jinx gets shot in the head like she just did. As Greek are gonna have to
Um,
burn the cleanse there from the Shenton as GP continues to push in the top lane, but Viego is there to catch the wave, so this XP deficit I talked about a moment ago is gonna get closed a tiny bit as yes, gonna munch on the entire wave, gonna be propelled to almost level 8 off that actually. As Jinx rotates top to catch the wave. The next wave anyway. I do wonder if they're going to keep their lane assignments. Now it looks like Jinx is just going to try to catch the wave and reset, but no. Because she can't actually step up to the wave without endangering herself, she's going to have to let the wave come to her. She'll have to wait another wave, most likely, before fixing up the lane assignments. As the dragon does come up in about 10 seconds. It should be Pushin LP's dragon to the cure here as they look onto the Syndra, but no damage landing onto Licorice from Graves means he's gonna get out. And Jinx is finally being called over for the dragon. They have the GP ulti, but because the Lumi by Rhinos is so chunky, no flash and ulti, they're just gonna give it up.
if it seems like they will be looking for a play mid here. Sakura Chiming is overextending once again.
Yeah, because of that, they are gonna look onto him. But since they commit so many people for the mid play, it actually looks like Pushin LP is sneaking the dragon as another thresh hook gonna land. But Leona's just jumping on the center. She overstepped so majorly. Current call as well as the slow, but here comes the lantern. Double ulti committed. But they still get the dragon, and they also get the pick on Synical, which is so huge. Even if it is Leona that got the shutdown. Another great dodge from Jimadizo. He is truly skilled against the GV matchup. Even if he is eating so much damage. As would you look at that Blade Cube going for the Triforce, which I do agree with. Divine Thunder on GP is a bit of a trap because it doesn't apply on his barrels the way you think they would. It doesn't actually make them deal the 10% damage as Music's Knife is dead here most likely. No Viego ult, they do both dodge the Thresh and the Zap, but here comes the Viego W, such a low cooldown ability. Can they turn it though? Oh, Jinx, no rocket, but here comes Sakura with the Graves. I don't think he can make anything happen though, as GP's just kind of try to box this Shen. He's a bit in no man's land, no E as well. W has finally run out, which means Blake can continue the chase. Does he have the barrels to do it? He needs to pop this, and he does, which means passive is on, the slow is on, and he takes him out for a solo kill.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Looks like Viego is actually going to go first item Bork, which isn't usually what you see, but it does give you that huge burst of damage, and there goes Sakura. This is what I was talking about. This, if Graves ever gets caught in any of the CC, he's getting 100 secured for sure. As Lumi Mariano is gonna try to keep farmed up, 0-0-0 still on the pick, but he is keep staying farmed level ahead still over Viego here in the jungle. And because of that, he actually has a bounty, 200 gold on him, 500 up on the 302 Viego, because of the tower he helped to get, I believe, with the Herald. As Green Greg is in danger now, he's gonna try and dodge out, and he does, which means he potentially turn, but the Viego mist is there to save him. With that, it's gonna be actually a 3k gold lead top lane for Gangplank because of how much he's been chipping away at the turret, on top of the Q passive, on top of the 40 CS lead. He's almost double the gold of the Shen, which it means his life is hell. The Shen really needs to try and make a play happen across map because he is hemorrhaging the top lane. He's already lost his first turret. As Sakura uses E, but Syndra smartly did not throw it. She does have the Ludens and Sorks, so That's a huge spike for her. Of course, Sakura does have the null magic, so most of the magic pen from those two items are going to be negated. I believe all of it actually. About 24 pen. I believe null magic is 25 bar. As Jinx continues to push the top lane, Thresh is hovering to lantern her out if any danger were to come of it. As Viego is once more hovering mid lane, but Sakura might smell something up and yeah, immediately ease away, but the stun is landing. Not much you can do other than commit the ulti for the dodge on the stun, but it's so hard. And because of that, it's going to be another death for Sakura in the mid lane. Oh wow, that Venus play didn't look like it landed because of that. Here comes the CC chain.
A little greedy overstay by Syndra as bot lane missing for a while. And we do see that Diana did trade Herald for that mid play as well.
Yeah, and the Herald actually able to get the charge off. Usually when the wave is right there, sometimes they'll decide to ignore the turret even if it's in range. And because of this Herald, they're able to break open the mid turret. So getting those picks with Ceiling is going to be a bit easier now. As Sakura is just going to try to catch the bot wave as Jinx is spotting him from so far away. But she might have overstepped. No Thresh. Damn, but here comes the Shen ulti. Just not Sakura's day. Curtain call coming in from behind though. TP's on top. Can they make something happen? Jin's a bit out of position as Music is Nice really stepped up way further than he should have. I don't know why he did that, as it's going to be a huge mishap for them. Jinx got the reset. Blakekeep's going to get ulted up, and the flash hook onto Greek. Cleanse going to come in just in time. And, oh, Louie, no. Didn't have the Proto Belt, and because of that CC chain. Beautiful stopwatch play as well, though. Means he's gonna get a return kill, but still, that is very unfortunate. Syndra gonna try and make something happen. Flash, scatter, not gonna hit because the Gale Force still up for Jin. Very important for him there. That is, I believe it's a 2 or 3 for 1 in the bottom lane, and they're gonna get Batra on top Dragon as well, because Limmy's dead for it. That's gonna be a huge reversal of fortune despite being 4 kills up, there's still 3k gold down as a flash done. Here comes the Wamba, here comes the combo. Greek got a bit too cocky though. May should have let Leona brawl him down because here comes the GP ulti to give the kill over to Blakekeep. Blakekeep very large in charge of the game. Last one as well. Once again because of the counter pick matchup he's given. As Music is Nice, they caught out. Here comes the near side, but a bit too little too late. As Blakekeep just gonna keep pushing and prodding in the top lane. Barrel landing once more. Has Death Stance now as well. As they just want to prevent Jinx from breaking the mid turret here. Because if they lose, it's gonna be so hard to play against this Fed Syndra and Fed Viego. As Blakekeep's now in danger. I do want to see Music is Nice head up and kind of give Blakekeep a nice shell of vision to kind of play around, because it's a bit hard for him to push the advantage he's thrown in the top lane. This 4.5k gold lead if he doesn't have the vision, he's unable to see if he's getting ganked by mid or jungle, potentially even Thresh, who did opt into the Lucidity boost this game. With that, Jinx gonna work towards her second item. Looks like it's gonna be the Rapid Fire Cam, which you don't usually see. Maybe she thinks that it's kind of hard for her to step up without having the added range of it against this Diana and Leona. And you're also able to auto the barrels from a lot farther away as well. There's that added benefit. As more vision just cleared down the top side. And Blakekeep gonna take a reset here, staying on 1200 gold. I'm not sure what he's gonna be getting next. I'm not that familiar with GP builds when you go Bruiser. Looks like it will just be... That could go either way. It could be the Cyrilda. I doubt it though. Most likely gonna be the LDR. GP doesn't necessarily need the Cyrilda passive with the slow, unless he does want it for the ability haste, because he should be hovering around 50 or so. As Lane Byranas is in danger here. He can't really go onto the Syndra because of the scatter, but now it's a bit too little too late. The stopwatch not able to be used. CC chain too good. And he's just gonna get taken out once more. 306 is the Viego, 744 is the Syndra. This game is a tale of mid-jungle duo. And
Yep, it looks like they
Steven's
will
Ducks
be
on
looking
top.
for Baron here.
Yeah. They have the GPL, but I'm not sure they can actually walk up. They don't have enough damage to look for this. Mayhaps with the GPL, which has been called down. Here comes the current call as well. So much havoc. Here comes the collateral damage, but it's going to be blocked by a Syndra. It's disastrous for Steven Ducks. Gale Force in from the Jhin. They need to get out. But here comes the box to stop 99% slow music. Nice trying to check out. Here comes the TP from Jhin. Barrel landing onto low energy. He's taken out. And it's going to be 3-0. Reed Greg landing all the curtain call shots. And now it's their turn for the Baron dance. Where do you think that went wrong, Mr. Synical?
Yeah, they should be looking, because they have GP ult and curtain call along with the Leona ult. They have a lot of long range ultimates, so they should be looking to turn and play for fight rather than committing to Baron.
That commitment to Baron really messed them up because with all these nerfs to the lifeline on ADCs and the removal of Ravenous, they just did not have the sustain needed. The Baron was chipping away at them so hard. I'm not even sure if Jinx had, she does, but it just wasn't enough. By the time the fight had started, she was already about a third HP from GP ulti. And yeah, that just led to a complete coin flip of the game state. 4k gold lead now, and a posturing for Dragon has begun. 1-2 is the count. May I remind you, if Stevens do lose this game, it'll be a huge upset. 5th seed taking out the 1st seed. Is gonna be a Rutgers finals if that happens. As Blade Cube is once more pushing and pushing and pushing with the Baron buff, the Triforce, and giving him the added AD to push down these turrets even faster on top of the passive. Fincher's gonna have to be called back, but she cancels her port as GP's just going. No one's stopping him. Shen finally channeling the TP, but Blade Cube's already gone. That's such an important cooldown burned as Blade Cube can now move to the fight. He has the GP ult so soon. Here it comes. Double solar flare from Leona. Massive in the team fight clean up here. And a flash from Sakura Chimeng is great as well. As the follow-up comes in from Greed Greg, the chase down is so huge, the cooldown is so low from this Leona, from this Diana, they're able to take out the entire time it's happening. Blade Cube's just pushing in the mid lane with the Triforce as well. A 3-for-0 on the map, a 1-for-0 on the Dragon, so 1-for-0 on the Inhib. A great Baron power play for Pushin LP here. This game is just so rapidly slipping away from Steven's Ducks. With that, the resets are taken, and it looks like objective bounties are on the board, which is never a good sign to see, because that's how you know you're truly far behind. Jinx is gonna try and make something happen as Music Nice storms the gates of the red side jungle of Steven's Ducks. They're gonna try to take out any vision, try to make it a bit harder for them to get picked, but it's so scary as yeah, here comes the hook, the CC chain thresh is gone for sure, and they're just turning straight on Viego. Heartbreaker, huge QE, but no, it goes straight up! The Viego goes straight up, which means they're gonna be able to keep on pushing. Most likely if they go mid. Ping's on the top lane. Blade keeps still going strong in the bot lane. I love to see his turret damage score at the end of the game, as I feel like he's done everything in that regard. Bot turret finally going down here, as both soul laners called down to stop the push, but because of that, no one's left to defend the top turret, as Greed Greg's here to push it in. Music is nice, gonna try to ward off any defense as Syndra is looking with the Gather the League, try to make a pick happen, but nothing to be done. Looks like Gray is gonna be working towards the Moss, so this Syndra, yeah, he finally picked up this Syndra. The bane of his existence this game is not gonna be able to pop him as easily, and as she is the main threat for getting this Viego and Jinx the reset, this MR is so important. And meanwhile, Lumi by Rhino is 8 stack Dark Seal working towards the 10. As Greg kind of has a bit of a hodgepodge of builds going together, has the IE components with Steel sitting there, kind of looking like a Tryndamere build. As Blade Cube, I think, queued a minion instead of the barrel there, so his 2 parts gonna get messed up as he's getting jumped. He needs to buy as much time as possible, I believe, but it's a bit hard. He has gone the wrong way, he has flashed, but here comes the Heartstopper. And because of that, it does give them the timer to push in the top turret here. I don't think they can get anything done, it's just gonna be a free pick onto the Gangplank as he does get his 4th item. I guess he just didn't expect them to send so many. With that, it's gonna be a team reset, 2 items finally onto Viego here, as Diana picks up the Rabadon's death cap. If she ever gets an ulti off in the fight, it's gonna be an instant stopwatch and so many low health bars. It's gonna be a free cleanup from the current call and the collateral damage from Jhin. This is the power of Diana jungle. 227 CS, about I'd say 7 or 8 per minute, just roughly. A total of 2 levels up on the enemy jungle here, and an 8k gold deficit. Objective ban is still up as Baron coming up in 20 seconds, Dragon in a minute, as Pushin LP are scrambling to get vision for now. They just want to make sure they can instantly do it on spawn. From looks of, they've called Blade Cube over. Shen is in the bomb lane, he has the ult, he has the TP, and but Jinx is in base. 7 seconds on the Baron spawn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Music is nice and his own, but with Dino with Rabadons, with the Gangplank 4 items, this Baron is melting. The worm is just gone in about 10 seconds. Music is nice, picked onto potentially. He's gonna try to lock it to survive the burst. W as well. Here comes the ulti, just barely missing, which means he gets out with his life. Entire time pushing bot lane. That's the one silver lining here. They pushed out the waves. Maybe they can posture for a mid turret, but the comms are so split. Look, Diana is here for the look. Here comes the ulti. The GPLs is what I was talking about. These AoEs, long range slows. And because of that, Diana lives. And here comes the counter engage from Music is nice. The solar flare. And look at that, the sniper of Greg landing all the important shots he needs onto the Syndra, onto the Jinx, and another Zenith Blade land. Could this be a pentakill for Blade Cube? He's working for it. Here comes the Shen slow. He's gonna try to chip down another crit Q. As a quadra kill lands for Blade Cube, and all this time Sakura pushing in the top lane. And it looks like she's been found, but maybe Greg went off a bit more than good chew, because he got taken out. And now Blade Cube is just gonna try to chase her down here. Scatter gonna reveal a position, but he's been juked out. Dragon taken as Sakura gets a turret in the top lane, and Inhibit is now working on the mid. Just a very clean team fight coming out from Pushin LP. They got the Diana engage in. Scatter was not did not hit, was not fast enough. And then got the stopwatch, so while Syndra got out, Viego ate so much damage. And on top of that, a beautiful solar flare from Leona there enabled the fight to be continued. And of course, Greg landing 2 massive ults as Viego missing the ult over the wall. Lumi by Rhinos has the ulti to turn, but Syndra scatter. Yeah, there it is, but solar flare once more. But no, Lumi by Rhinos is just taken out. Sakura gonna keep trying to do damage here, as here comes the GP ult from the side. Music's nice now getting chased down. Sakura needs to get out, but oh, just barely not gonna be able to get. Because of that, the Jinx resets come in, the Viego resets come in. Blade Cube gonna try pushing the bot lane here as Greg pushes in the mid. Maybe get a 1v1 going. Greg has the flash, has the kill force, has the auto. Pumping damage out left and right. As Blake's just ignoring Shen here, but maybe he shouldn't have because so much damage. Because of that the taunt landing and Greg just gonna try to run for the hills here against the Viego, but gonna have to burn the cleanse, but it's a bit too little too late. Ace coming in for Steven's Ducks. Does bridge the gold gap a bit. 9k now. Objective Ice still on the map even after this. But how would you claw your way back into this? All your inhib turrets are gone. GP's almost at 5 items. Jin's at 4. And you just cannot get to the back line of Greg, of Blake Cube. Has practically been untouched in these fights. His only deaths were in the side lane here. As Shen has picked up the Gargoyle Stone Plate to try to tank up a bit more damage. He just does not have the health, I'm pretty sure. Brad coming up in 230 Baron as well. Not what you want to see if you're Stevens. Maybe they can try to look for a Baron or trade for Soul or a Soul trade for Baron. But either way, it's so hard as the top lane supers just keep pouring in, and you don't necessarily want to send your Syndra for it, because she's your strongest member and practically your only hope of winning a team fight. As Pushin LP just send 4 to the bot lane here. They really do want to get this bot lane inhib turret, as Shen is going to get caught out for sure. He cannot get out away from this. Maybe with the TP, but there's just so much CC. Yeah, he's going to try buy as much as possible, there's just no hope for him. He's gone. A very smart rotation from Pushin LP there. With that, they're going to try pushing in. 2 open inhibs still. Blake Cube can actually stop this report here. It looks like he's going to. Oh my god, that could be an ulti opportunity actually. Flash Cube, Blake Cube, 1v1 in the mid lane here as they push in the bot. No help needed. Lumi by Rhino pushing the mid. It's going to be triple inhib. This is surely the end for Steven's Ducks here in the run in Scarlet Class 7. I don't know how they can clear six super minions per wave. Top inhib should be back up relatively soon at the latest, but here comes the current call to zone them as they push in the turret. GP ult on top. It's an inside nexus mounting and Maris double Leona ult onto the move ball. And it's gonna be a cleanup from Pushin LP, a 2-0 5th seed taking down the 1st seed as Pushin LP move on to the finals.
Yep, but he
What were your thoughts on that game, Synical?
would turn the game around and push in LP's favor. Yeah, I
Yes,
think even though Blake Cube wasn't able to get the early lead, they were still able to win through objectives. And Stevens did go for a lot of greedy plays, where there was one instance where they went for kill on Graves instead of committing to Dragon. And then, as we know, they drew at Baron as well.
yeah, and even though they spent all these resources really putting this Graves behind, all the time this is happening, Shen was just bleeding out top lane in this Gangplank Blade Cube. He's just getting so much stronger. All this gold from the turrets, the CS, the parlay passive, it really added up, and his impact in these team fights was so large. But that's not to say that wouldn't be possible without Music is Nice. So many multi-man solar flare stuns landing onto the squishy members of Steven's Ducks, and because no cleanse on the Syndra, it was just so much harder for them to make the fights workable.
Yep, and on top of that, even though Viego did get a couple early kills, that was neutralized by Lumi's counter jungling. So even though he was up around 2 kills, Lumi did was up around 40 CS, which makes his lead almost useless, as he was up in levels as well.
Yeah. With that, it's gonna be Stevens Ducks knocked out, the first seed upset. And other than that, I do believe I have one more question for you, Cynical.
And what is that?
What are your thoughts on your upcoming match this Friday, I believe?
Oh, I think it will be a good match, but there will be a hard gap in some lanes.
All right. And with that, I believe we are finally done here. I've been Keldric, and this has been Cynical, and that was the semifinals A for Scarlet Classic 7. And we will see you on Friday. So see you then.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thank you for uh, coming on.